So in terms of body image, there are various symptoms, medications, and surgeries that are going to, change the way people with IBD view their bodies, right? I've had 4 bowel resections, an ostomy, and reversal. I'm pretty much a train track. But at this point, I know that each scar actually shows part of the journey and the way the way I was getting to where I am today. So your weight can change, absolutely, right? And I really found that, while I haven't been on prednisone a lot in the 40 years, I think twice, 1986 and 2000 and something, 3 years ago for a very short stint, that can really change it. So I use this last opportunity on prednisone to really kind of go into, well, what works? Because the reality is it does, stimulate your appetite and you're just hungry all the time. And, those things just go hand in hand with the prednisone or with the steroid. But it's, again, looking more at what we were talking about in terms of the Mediterranean diet. Can you add things into your diet so you don't feel so restrictive and you feel like you're satiated and your body's getting what you need with good quality calories, as opposed to just kind of looking at, I'm just kind of snacking and craving sweets and sugar and blah, blah, blah. The more sugar you have, the more salt you have, the more your body craves it. Right? So it's kind of looking at, what are you doing at the beginning of the day, and did you have enough of the right kinds of things in order to curb that later on in the day? The reality is, though, it changes, right? When someone's super thin, it's like, okay, and then all of a sudden they're on prednisone and the weight changes, it's going to affect things. But if you know that you're making the changes you need in order to adjust and bring your body weight down to where you feel the best at your set point, then that's what's important. Okay, it's really not about the weight, it's about how you feel about your body, which is what body image is. So appreciating your body when it's actually feeling well. So yes, there might be an increase of weight when you kind of move towards a prednisone, but your body is actually feeling well, and it's part of the healing and recovery process. It goes much deeper than somebody just gaining and losing weight over the course of 10 years. So we all have differences, regardless of whether we have IBD or not, and the way we look and the ways we live and the way we live. So I think it's really, really important that you kind of honor the fact that your journey is very different from somebody else's. And if you feel overall healthy in your body, is be able to fight some of the inflammation going on and, improve your quality of life. And that's fundamentally what's important. So it's normal overall, especially for young adults, for our bodies to change, right? I'll have some, patients who come into my office in their late 30s, 40s and go, well, when I was 23, I'm like, hey, just stop. It doesn't matter, right? So things change over time anyway, right? And not all medications that we deal with IBD influence your weight. There's other things that might influence weight as well. It's not just the IBD. So focus on what your body is capable of, and know that, when you do change and things do fluctuate, but again, you're looking at the fact that your body is strong, and that every stage of your IBD journey is going to be completely different. Most often when people are looking at weight gain, it might be an issue of absorption, and looking at that, right? If you're not absorbing certain foods very well and you're feeling bloated all the time and things like that, then it's very difficult for you to gain weight because your body's not absorbing the nutrients it actually gets, right? So you can approach weight gain differently. Just adding a whole bunch of, high fat, high caloric, not nutrient dense kind of foods to your diet, it's going to be a short-term fix, the same way as somebody who's looking at just cutting out carbs long-term, right? And so when we're looking at what you want to incorporate in terms of weight gain, right? If that's your issue, then really look at am I getting bloated all the time? Gassy, right? If your body's getting bloated or gassy, it's pretty much your gut going, hello, I can't handle this, right? So if it can't even handle the foods that you're putting it in, it's very difficult to start adding in, weight gainer kind of protein powders and things like that, because you're just adding more load and more work to the gut that it can't handle. And ultimately, it's not going to lead to weight gain. So that's why a food journal becomes super important, because if you are going to meet with somebody to kind of say, hey, I'm struggling with this issue, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, we can really identify, okay, you know what? The ingredients in this powder that you've been using trying to gain weight are not being absorbed, and it's giving more work to your gut. So long-term, it's not going to be effective.